guys, it's Landon Blake from Redefined Horizons, and in this little set of videos I'm going to show you how I prepare for a field survey on a project. So I'll show you how I set up my field package and what goes into my field packages and some of the checklists I use and how I set up my Topo survey plan. And so in this first video of the set, and I'm not sure how many videos we'll have in the set, we'll have at least 2, but in this first video I'm going to show you how I set up what I call my Topo survey plan, which is an 11 by 17 exhibit that I send out with the field crew that has most of the critical information that the field crew is going to need to do their job. And so I'm actually putting together this little set of videos for a coworker of mine, Sean. Sean had asked me a few weeks ago how I prepared my field crews for their work. So I wanted to create this set of videos so Sean could see how I do that. So Sean, you know who you are. This set of videos is for you, buddy. All right, so I've got a job folder set up for the project here. And in our project folder structure where I work, we have this folder called Fields. So I'll go in there. And then there's 2 folders here that are important for us. There's the data that's coming back from the field goes into incoming, but the data that we send out with the field goes into the outgoing folder. And so that's where I keep my field packages. And so you can see I've created a folder in here for the field package. So every field package gets its own folder with the date that I'm preparing the package and just a short description of what the field survey is for. Is it a topo? Is it boundaries? Is it control? So I've created a folder. So we're doing a little topo of a couple residential parcels out in Elmira, California on this particular project. So I've got a folder for that. And as a general rule, my crews, every day they go out, they will have a separate package. That's not always the case. They have a fairly simple survey, and some of that work just spills over into an extra day for some reason. They may not have a separate package, but as a general rule, every day they go out, they'll have a package. Okay. So if I had subsequent packages on this job, there would be other folders here in the outgoing folder, one folder for each package. It probably will not have more than one package for this job. It's a fairly simple survey, and I anticipate we will only be out a day, at least for the initial work. Okay, so I'm going to go into the Topo folder, and you can see I've got a few files in here already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder here, and I'm going to call this Topo survey plan. Okay, that's the exhibit that I send out with the crews. I've got 2 image screenshots I've just captured. One's out of Google Maps, one is out of Bing Maps, and I have the SVG file that I used to put together my exhibit. You could also do this in CAD. I just use Inkscape because it's easy for me and I've already got a template set up. Okay, so I'll just move those into that folder. There'll be some other items in here in this field package folder. So for example, if I had existing control, the control file would go in here with the descriptions of the control. There might be some photos. If I've got previous photos of the site, some critical stuff we need to tie in, that might go in here. So in this particular job, I don't think I'm going to have a lot more than the Topo survey plan because it's a brand new project and we don't have any control on the site yet, but we'll see. Okay, so in this video, I just wanted to focus on the Topo survey plan. So I'm going to go ahead and open this file up in Inkscape. Alright, so here's what my Topo survey plan template looks like. I just copied this out of another job. And you can see one of the first things I put in here is an image. And I've got this broken link here because I don't have the image that was used for this exhibit for this job that I copied from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here to my layers, and you can see I've got most of the layers locked, which is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the image background layer now. You can see I've got this little square shape set up with a transparent gray fill to just kind of screen back that image. I'm going to pull that to the side, and I'm going to delete this tile here. Okay. I've also got these arrows here, these leaders with numbers that tie into the existing control. And I know I don't have existing control on this job, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean some of this up real quick, because this is pretty complicated. We're not going to need something this complicated for this job. So let's see. I'm going to unlock the shape arrows layer, and most of this stuff I'm not going to need. I'm just going to copy down a couple of these down here on the edge of the outside the paper space. Copy down some of those layers. And I'm going to grab these leader lines too, these arrow lines or arrow shafts. And I'll move those down here so I can grab them when I need them. And grab a street label too. Got to unlock that layer though. So it looks like I did a fairly decent job keeping everything on the right layer before, which is good. Okay, then the rest of this stuff we're going to delete. Let's see. I've got a line for the mapping limits here. I'm going to unlock that because I'll want to hang on to those mapping limits. I'll move that down. Okay, and the rest of this we're going to try and delete here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and delete unlock some more layers here. I'm going to delete a bunch of these we're not going to need. I know we're not going to need this second set down below. I'll leave these up here. We'll come back. We may use some of those. We'll edit that text. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back in now and lock all these layers except for the image layer, because that's the one I'm going to be working on. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to crop my screenshot from Google Maps to match this box. Okay, so let's do that real quick. So we're going to go ahead and import. We'll import that image. Okay, so I'm going to grab this Google Maps screenshot. I'm going to tell it just go ahead and link, don't embed. And I'm going to grab that and give it a minute because it looks like it's freezing up. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I'm going to pause the video and see if I can figure out why this is locking up. All right, so I went in and unlocked all my layers. It looks like this dropped in on the wrong layer. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to the layer menu, and we'll move it to the right layer. I'm going to say put that on image background. And then I'll go back in and lock those other layers. The reason I keep those layers locked is because we don't want to move crap around by accident. That can be a little bit of a problem in Inkscape. Inkscape can be a little grabby when you're using the mouse. Okay. So I've set image background current, and it's the only layer that's unlocked now. Okay, so now I can move this over. Sometimes you have to scale this up or down, but it looks like it came in all right. And I'm just going to move it, snap it to my grid there. And I'm going to drop it to the back of the display order so that this transparent square hovers over the front. And then I just want to hover this over my site. Okay. And I'll just show you real quick. I have a PDF kind of rough sketch that came from the client here that shows what they want to tie out. So that's what I'm working from here to build this exhibit. Okay, once we have that set up, I'll go into my fill and stroke dialog here, and I'm going to set that to 0 transparency for the export. Make sure it's selected, that square is selected, because that's how we get it to crop to the right dimensions. And I'm going to pull up the export image, and we're going to go into this same folder, and we're just going to call this Google Maps screenshot crop. Okay, we're going to export that out at 200 dpi. You notice this is set to selection. That's what we need to get that to the right size. Okay, once that's done, I just hit my undo button once. That puts our square back with the right transparency there, and then we can delete this image. Okay. Okay, now we'll go ahead and import that image that we just made, the cropped one. Okay, and it should come in the right dimensions, square dimensions in this case, and it did. Okay, then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see my smaller grid squares here, my grid interval, and I'm just going to snap that into place at the right location. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab this shape here that screens my image. I'm going to just pull it over, and then we'll hit this button here to bring it back to the top of the display order. Okay. All right, now, if we turn off the layer, and if we did everything right, both should disappear, the screen and the image, and they do. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm going to zoom extents now, and we'll save that. Okay, so now we got our background image set up. Okay, so what we'll do next, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video because we're at about 10 minutes. So in the next video, we will go ahead and add our mapping limits. We'll show the crew where we want our control. We'll probably drop in a couple street labels. And then if we have time, we'll go in and edit some of these text labels.